what I've seen, I think that they, at the moment, lack a little bit of consistency in areas. I think Coin Flip Gaming are, I think it's a little bit in the name. They have somewhat of a coin flip style. I think there are certain times where they could be playing a little bit more reserved and just not trying to overextend in some of the situations where they do. And I think that if that's one of the things that I want to see more of them as we move into playoffs, is a much more kind of a much more well choreographed game plan from them. And I think that part of that is due to to a lot of the changes they've had, but that is definitely something that I'm sure they're working on. And I'm just hoping that they're going to be able to bring all of the kind of developments that they've made and make that actually come together and get them the win when they get into the playoffs.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. I hope you're ready for this because this is going to be another exciting matchup. We've got Coin Flip Gaming versus Restless Lake Syndrome. It is game point in this best of 5 series for RLS. They have got everything to gain from this, and Coin Flip Gaming have everything to lose. So I am expecting something absolutely crazy and for things to go off the rails and some kind of train wreck to happen. Once again, I am your Shoutcaster Shargan, joined by the ever bright and sunny Sunshine joining me on the caster desk.
Yeah, so I just want to give a quick shout out because we actually just had a world record attained right here and now. The Ban Aurelia any percent category. CFG achieved the world record. They have a lot of practice. They did it twice this series so far. They forgot about it, and now they're really proven that they can keep up in the category. And other than that, it is going to be pretty standard bans from both teams. They banned these champions before. So I'm excited to see what the early pick is. Quick Leona.
Very quick Leona lock in. They do like that in the bot lane. Dust has been doing some really good work on their disengage and engage supports. We have the Ezreal Yuumi pickup that's immediately locked in on the side of RLS. So that's kind of a craziness right there. I don't like it at all. It just gives me PTSD looking at it.
I think the Ezreal Yuumi is really good into Leona. It's so hard for her to do anything in this lane.
That's why I am a Leona main. I've seen this lane. I don't like it.
Ouch. So you got to expect that Dust is going to just have really low duo procs this game. He's going to have to play around his mid laner and jungler because there's just not a whole lot you can get done in a bottom lane like that.
There isn't, and I saw that hover of the Vayne, and I was about to get really, really upset at Sadis, but I do like to switch over to the Caitlyn. You've got the range now, so you are able to try and pepper some auto attacks in there on those dashing little monstrosities that RLS are going to be putting out onto the field. I really don't like them letting Escape get anything that's slippery at all, so it'll be really kind of interesting. I do expect something crazy to come out for this last pick on the side of CFG for the top 3. And we're getting a Sejuani. Again.
Another Sedge.
But we do have the melee support this time.
Yeah, so Sedge Leona pops that stun quick. Leona has really fast auto reset. She gets 3 stacks real quick. Skarner is the counter for RLS. War Leader's playing Skarner.
I have heard war leaders say under certain circumstances they want to take Skarner. Like they're just like, you know what? Fine. If I want to win hard, I'm going to take Skarner. So I'm really interested to see how they pull that out and how they pull this off. This is going to be really interesting because we do again have the speedy boy in the jungle. That Scorpion is not very slowed down very much once he gets those crystals activated. So it's going to be a lot of map control, which RLS has shown that they're very good at doing. A Yuumi Ezreal lane isn't something I would expect to roam a terribly large amount, though, so I don't expect them to be the ones providing that map security.
Yeah, really loves speed, does like picking up things like a Zoomies and a champion whose entire passive is built around move speed, like a Skarner. Now you do see that RLS is lacking both top and mid lane, so they're probably going to get counterpicked in one of the lanes and save R5. I would hope to see a counter from Anti this game. Mm-hmm. Pengu Soul did carry last game, but I think if you just pick like something like Orianna's banned, but if you pick something in that same control mage category, it's a lot harder to punish in lane than a melee top laner into another melee top laner.
Yeah, they did get rid of the Shen and the Set and the Malzahar and the Ori, which are both champions we've seen this series do very well for their respective teams. So I feel like that they've kind of like, those are nice respect bands. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what we have pulled out. I don't expect to have another Ari just because of how that pulled off. A Gwen, though, is going to be really kind of fun having that doll in the mid lane.
I don't know if
there's in the top lane, actually.
Yeah, I think it's top lane Gwen. I also can't imagine anything more annoying than a Gwen with a Yuumi on top. Gwen is already pretty anti-fun, so that sounds especially brutal.
Yep.
When you pick in something like an Ezreal, you don't really expect Yuumi to spend much time on him after the early game. You were going to pick some big champions otherwise. Looks like You Belong in a Museum is going to be locking in Garen to search. He's a pretty strong all-in threat.
He's your basic, Gwen, your basic Nightman. He does his job, spins to win. So
yeah, Gwen is kind of she's like a Kayle whose range is tied to an ability instead of her ult levels. So you do expect to see some aggression as the counter to her. Otherwise, she is just going to outscale you. Corki is left up for Route. That is one of his more picked champions. So I kind of think that that's not just a hover, and that is going to be what they pick. I'm interested in what RLS chooses for their mid laner.
I am expecting Route to do better this time round, though, on their package drops. I feel like their package drops were used a lot more reactively and in a defensive manner rather than hanging on to them for as long as possible, saving them for the team fights around the Dragon Pit, which is where they were desperately needed during a lot of those fights in Game 1. And I think that is part of the reason why they were struggling as much as they were. However, I feel like the comp on the side of CFG is very well-rounded and does have a lot of win conditions available to them. And then we have that Lissandra as the final lock-in for RLS. A very blue team on the side of RLS. Blue and purple to match their color logo.
Yeah, they look pretty good. I think that the RLS comp is kind of hard to pilot. I think it's kind of weird. It has a lot of single target lockdown, but not that much like overall engaged threat. So I think from them, it's kind of a win lane, win game comp. Like if this Gwen gets ahead and then they just put a Yuumi on it, I don't know what counterplay there is. So it's going to be pretty rough. CFG does have a very simple comp to pilot. On the other end, though, they have like 3 beefy champions and 2 strong damage dealers. So I think that CFG has the advantage in draft just because the comp is pretty straightforward. I think it's plays to their strengths well with those 2 carry positions.
It might be that way. However, if this Skarner is able to get a good flank, they can basically jump in on the back line. We got the 5-man drop in right here. The slow's going to come out, but it doesn't matter because they hit a Sejuani. Sejuani does not get slowed down because of that armor, and that's going to be a nice chunk of damage. Not any summoner spells burned, though, because none of the crucial characters actually got hit. And that's going to be a good ward placement, so we do have nice vision. What I was going to say, though, is if the Skarner is able to find a good flank, he can basically jump onto the Caitlyn or the Corki and be like, this is mine now, and take it away.
Yeah, I think that's for sure. Especially I think it's pretty easy to say that one of these carries is going to be dead at the start of every fight, just because of if they don't pay the Skarner tax, he is just going to be able to snag somebody, and then Gwen with Yuumi on top hurts really bad. So it will. I think Skarner can just take one of these champions away to their death. Cleanse isn't going to save you from a QSS, so I kind of think Route is not going to itemize the QSS, which makes it pretty easy to decide who you're going to Skarner ult, right?
Exactly, yeah, and it's one of those things where I really feel like Skarner's ult is a little bit more frustrating to deal with than Malzahar's, because Malzahar's, yes, holds you in place and deals damage, but Skarner can take you wherever he wants.
Yeah, Malzahar
self-CCs.
Malzahar self-roots, whereas Skarner continues his mobility, and he usually builds a ton of move speed, so he's going to get to make some moves after he grabs you. That's a lot of damage from Anti.
Snap coming back and forth in the top lane here. Some good snips coming out of Anti.
A quick observation is that Anti doesn't have Flash. He did go this Ignite TP build, which is super aggressive.
We got the flash coming in from Dust, and he jumps right onto Demon Girl. Demon Girl's going to get ignited. That's going to be first blood over to Caitlyn.
Yeah, you can't be playing like that against the Leona lane as Yuumi. Your W stays on cooldown for so long if you get CC'd that it's just pretty brutal.
It's rough. It's something you got to be careful for and you got to watch out for because Leona, for them, Flash is merely another engaged tool. It is not something that they like to have on cooldown. There you go. The E coming out, Zenith Blade, catch and escape on the back line.
Oh, Escape's taking so much damage.
Taking so much damage. However, they are going to survive by the skin of their
flash.
team. And now he did have to flash. He did have to use the arcane shift, so he is able to stay alive, but that is going to be a summoner spell down. The cleanse did not come out during that, probably for the best.
Yeah, I think cleanse, if you early cleanse, can be really good, but if you don't, then you're just lacking that. It's basically
we got Desires coming out onto Gwen as we have CFG deciding, you know what? It doesn't matter. We're going to eliminate. We're going to jump right on top. We got War Leader coming up on the backside, though, trying to get some assistance to his laner. Does manage to get a nice stun off, and that is, however, not going to be enough. Anti is going to get stunned by the permafrost out of Sejuani.
Is he just going to try to get to the bush and press B?
He's trying to survive on that. However, we have...
Oh, is he going to TP?
He's TPing. There we go. That is what you got to do in order to escape. That is the creativity that you need as a Gwen in order to survive. And he just basically causes poor old Garen to lose out on a lot of CS by doing this and keeping himself alive. That was a beautiful engagement, something worth analyzing.
Yeah, it's a really nice gank, actually, from Shadow Bunny. I think they just lacked damage because, well, it's a Sejuani Garen early game. They're both more oriented towards their tank stats in those early phases. Anti, with a lack of TP now, can't really base to just save the wave. If he bases in a situation where the wave is frozen against him, he should lose a lot of farm. As it is right now, he is kind of continuing to build the lead, though. Even he's catching back up in HP.
See, he's built a nice lead for himself with this CS. He's already got 2 waves on the Garen, which is absolutely devastating for him. And it will allow him to do a little bit. He does have a very risky situation with, once again, Shadow Bunny returning for the gank. That's going to be the Ignite coming out onto Anti, and unfortunately, he's going to get the solo kill. Oh my goodness, Anti is still alive. He managed to take down the Garen at the very last minute. Shadow Bunny trying to find a location. We do have Anti dashing around, trying to look for that hit. Does manage to avoid getting hit by the secondary shot of the flail and is able to get away with just a sliver of his health. 20
Okay, Anti. Okay, Anti. We see you. We see you. We get it. They're spending even more people and the counter teleport. He's alive.
He is still alive. I don't know how. And in the meantime, Pangolso's like, hey, you attacking my laner? I'm going to come after you. I'm going to go for it. Look, we got a fight going on right now. Skarner jumping in onto Shadow Bunny. Does manage to get off a nice bit of damage. He is able to get the stun off from the passive. However, before Shadow Bunny is able to get theirs, they are going to take some extra damage. They got the TP coming out from You Belong in a Museum, though.
Dude, RLS, maybe it stands for Really Love Skirmishes. That really fight was so long. That was the longest skirmish I've ever seen in my life. That skirmish lasted for 2 minutes. It started at like minute 3. We've been skirmishing for so long.
This is something you really got to look at, and I don't know. I feel like it's very well played on the side of RLS in terms of their survivability and able to get around. However, at the same time, CFG doing a great job keeping up the pressure, keeping them on their toes, trying to keep them engaged and just basically occupying their time. And that is a lot of resources across the map that have been burned as a result. So it could go either way still.
That Gwen Q hurt my soul. Like, it did so much damage to You Belong in the Museum's Garen. It hurt so bad for how early in the game this is. Gwen's a scaling champion.
Yeah, you let Gwen stack her passive and then hit you with it, and if you're in the middle, that's true damage that you're taking. So you've really got to make sure you're avoiding it, and unlike the set Haymaker, you don't have as good of a visibility on it so much as kind of, okay, this is where Gwen is aiming, I need to sidestep. Like, look at that! Look at that! Just
that was brutal. He pressed his W. He had bonus armor and magic resist. But it's not something that can be blocked by armor or magic resist. You just gotta hold the L, man.
I know, it's absolutely ridiculous. And War Leader doing a great job on these roams, being where he needs to be when he needs to be there. We do have the back coming out from Pangusol, who's rotated top. It could be looking for a dive. They are level 6.
Yeah, this
already
is
coming
rough.
in. They got the W coming out. That is going to be the front tomb coming out as well. And Move Along in a Museum is not going to be able to survive that. In the meantime, taking the Cloud Drake, a very smart play by the side of CFG, trying to get some resources while they're able to. But we could be seeing a steal potentially. No, we're not, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, nice cross mapping. When your top laner is dead to rights like that, you got to figure out something you can do elsewhere. So they do quick decide to make the play happen in that Drake pit. Shadow Bunny kind of soaking this plate gold. I think that Route probably would have gotten there anyway. I don't think it's too big of a concession, though. Corky, I almost said Kirky. Corky really wants to just get gold and scale, and he'll take any method of getting the gold possible.
Exactly. The poor Kirky, he got to get the gold wherever he can, next sort of thing, right?
Yeah, indeed.
But I do think that was actually really smart. Like, it is splitting the gold between Corky and Sejuani. However, Sejuani is down like 30 CS, relatively speaking, because of those camps. So they are in desperate need of gold, relatively speaking, to War Leader. So with that, going to help them catch up just a little bit. But Pangu's Soul does so much damage with 1 Q. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was a nice little chunk. I think War Leader playing so many of the same type of fighter power farmer makes it really easy for him to just decide quick snap how he can maximize farm and be helpful to his team, because he's been at all of these skirmishes, but he's also gotten to just build this huge farm lead for himself.
He has, and it's one of those things. So if you watch the launch, look at this, good engage onto Route, but Route's going to be able to jump over the wall in order to avoid it. If you watch the Friend of Foe launch, we talked about drafting, and one of the things we mentioned was playing player performance and comfortability. And one of the things that War Leader has, because he plays these skirmishy movers that are all relatively the same kit-wise and playstyle-wise, it allows him to slot in whatever he needs whenever certain champions get banned.
So I think like a reasonable comparison is, I don't remember their name, but Suning's jungler last year built the same build on every champion he played. Every single game, it was Cinderhulk, Knight's Vow.
Well, when you got a broken build, you don't fix it.
Yeah, every game he built it. He played it on Rengar when they played him. So it was like, yeah, it was then he went Titanic Hydra. That was the last item.
Right there.
But yeah.
Anti once again getting the little snips right there onto You Belong in a Museum, able to do a chunk of damage while taking none at the same time. And I do want to point out that look at that flash coming out from Leona, jumping right on top of Escape, but Escape is going to do what he does best and just get himself out of there.
Good cleanse. I think he flashed then E'd. That's a lot of distance. Oh!
Ooh, look at that package. That is what we want to see. Corky coming in from downtown, saving his top laner as he manages to pick himself up a kill, getting that shutdown gold.
Escape, you're really close. Oh, nice sidestep.
Nice sidestep to avoid the Glacial Flail. Doesn't take the damage, doesn't get stunned, so he's going to be able to do that. However, this is going to be War Leader cleaning up the topside jungle, just laughing as he does it.
You know, it's got to feel good for CFG to finally punish RLS's top laner Anti. He's been getting away with murder in these games, and he's finally got caught for it.
Ooh, nice over the wall. We got the stun coming out onto Pangosol, but the Frozen Tomb saving their life, getting them the extra heals, flashing away in order to avoid the extra damage. Dust trying to Zenith Blade on top, but shoots in the wrong direction. However, we do see the Shadow Veil coming out from the side of Gwen. They're taking no damage from this Corky as they're taking just outside of it. However, they do eventually get taken down. Pangosol picking up the extra damage. Route is the one who ends up killing Anti yet again, allowing him to get even more gold, trying to even up this mid lane. I think Corky's going to be the one who ends up saving CFG's bacon in this. Yeah,
CFG's mid laner Route has a lot of gold right now. He's 2-0. 90 CS quick kill from Sadis.
Snipe coming out of Caitlyn. There we go. Sadis picking himself up some extra gold. I was a little confused as to what that was at first. Over I was, wait, that's a Caitlyn shot.
Yeah, Caitlyn is going to snag a quick kill for CFG. CFG does have shutdowns on both of their big damage carries. That makes potential catches on them even more rewarding than just killing them outright would be normally. That's a lot of damage. War Leader.
Yeah, he's getting hit by the rockets from Route.
I don't think you need to step up to clear the wave there. They're not going to take the turret. I don't think they get 2 plates even if he doesn't spend his flash, you know? So I think a little bit of a misstep there from War Leader.
A little bit of a misstep. I do like the early aggression on this mid lane turret, though. Good route coming out onto route. He is going to be stuck in place. We have the Rift Herald getting dropped in the mid lane. That's going to be the mid lane turret falling. This is the first game I think we've seen where the mid lane turret's going to get taken down first. We've been seeing a lot of hard pressure on these top and bot lanes, but the mid lane, in all honesty, is way more important because it just allows you so much more objective control, which CFG have been lacking.
So I actually have 2 things I want to say. Typically, the worst lane to break early is the mid lane because it's so fast. It's so short. You can shove it out really fast and continue to rotate. Yeah, you get access to 2 more jungle entrances, but that doesn't tend to matter as much in this mid-game phase. So I think really the thing that we're looking at is CFG opened up the game. We ended laning phase. We're into the mid-game now. But I don't think that CFG's far enough ahead that they can comfortably mid-game when their carries are both 2-item plus carries.
Potentially. They have had a lot better objective control this game in general, so they have picked up the first 2 Drakes. That does mean that this is going to be Infernal Soul. 4 Infernals on the side of RLS, though, is kind of terrifying. Yeah,
that... Oh, they have a lot of damage just in general.
Yep.
So that's pretty scary. I'm gonna make a quick note of Pengusil seems to build the utility rune page / items every game. I don't think we've seen that aggressive burst style build from him yet. I think that's another thing that goes to show they really like playing around anti. Escape's name is Escape. He likes playing weak side. He picks these very slippery champions. So
he does. He likes being able to get in, get out, do his job, and not take any damage while doing it. So this is going to be really interesting to see exactly how it plays out. We do have Route trying to jump in onto RLS. RLS not quite able to get out. We do have Pengusoul getting exceptionally low. The Frozen Tomb was not able to save them there. War Leader is going to be caught as well. They're going to get stunned. That is going to be the Leona dropped a little bit early, but preemptively in front, so War Leader doesn't have an escape route, and that is going to be him scuttling away, trying to find a route out. Route, however, managed to suss him out and was able to find him. That is going to be a lot of damage coming their way. Gwen, Anti, trying to find a way to help out his ally, but isn't able to do it. He's now going to be caught between a 4-man 1v4, and Gwen is going to take no damage from anyone outside of the Black Mist, though, and that is going to be him having to get underneath tower just to try and survive. Coinflip have kind of taken the reins of this game and are like, look, we are not letting you get this game 3 win easy at all.
Yeah, this is a totally different game for CFG. RLS is kind of looking like they're struggling in this one, I think. With Anti being on the red side top, there's 2 more routes to gank him from. And I think that it's showing. They're playing a lot of emphasis on not letting Anti get ahead this game and just passively generating leads with Katarina and Corki. Not Katarina, Caitlyn and Corki.
Caitlyn and Corki passively generating that lead, exactly the way to put it, because as we can look at these gold leads right now, we have seen CFG pull ahead. They are now almost 4K ahead of RLS, which is absolutely massive.
Yeah, that's a fat gold lead.
That's a fat gold lead in the nature of this game.
Yeah, especially since RLS scrapping so much.
They do, and we've seen CFG take the scrap game, and they have decided they're very good at it themselves, and they do a very good job, and are able to usually win it. Pangu Soul doesn't quite have the damage in order to take down these turrets very, very quickly. They do a decent amount of damage, though.
Yeah, they for sure do a lot of damage. I can't imagine this Garen ever getting on top of Pangu Soul. It's Lissandra with an Everfrost.
Yeah.
And an E.
It's going to be very, very hard to do if it's doable at all. Gwen jumping right on top of Route, trying to get some damage off, trying to pick themselves up some revenge kills. Not quite able to do it, though.
Oh, Pangu Soul top lane. We do have a cleanse
return
from
of the
Route.
Pangu Soul in the top lane. Tower diving. We are seeing Deja Vu at the moment. Cleanse coming out from Corki, though, is going to mean he manages to survive. We have Lissandra having to run away, but the TP is going to come out, and it's going to be the burn damage that finally gets Gwen a kill. That's going to be a huge shutdown gold. 700 extra gold going over to Anti, and that is going to allow him to come back into this game. In the meantime, though, this mid lane turret getting sieged to death, and it's probably going to fall here in just a second.
I think we haven't seen the Yumi leave Ezreal yet this game.
We have not. Oh, all right, look at this. War Leader trying to save this turret. Isn't quite able to do it. He does get some damage off, but unfortunately, he takes way more himself.
Yeah, it's... I think RLS look kind of lost this game. I think they don't really know what their own game plan is to get back into a game that they didn't generate a gold lead for this kind of comp. This comp is a scaling one, but I don't think RLS is quite acquainted with or comfortable playing like this from behind scaling type team.
Especially not the nature of game that CFG wants to play. They're pressuring these fights. They're trying to force RLS to take them, and RLS is taking the bait. Look at this. We got Shadow Bunny doing exactly to Pango Soul what Pango Soul has been doing into the top lane, diving right on top of him, getting a nice stun off. We have the Frozen Tomb coming out, keeping him alive for a little bit of that fight. Nice package being used in a defensively offensive manner, and that is going to be You Belong to Museum picking him a kill as they manage to take him out. In the meantime, in the bot lane, we did have Lissandra survive, I think. Just barely able to get away from that gank.
Yeah, but I'm not loving what I'm seeing from Demon Girl's Yumi. That was a pretty easy situation to get a Skarner out of, but she just watched him die. I mean, they do take this third Drake, but now Soul is on the table for CFG.
Yep, CFG's got Soul ready to go, primed and all set. It's going to be another 5 minutes before we see that come up. In the meantime, Baron's going to be up here in another minute 30. Gwen jumping in onto Garen, but unfortunately, Garen's built up enough tank that they're able to survive a lot of these fights. I mean, just look how much damage Anti is doing, but is not quite able to pick up the kill.
Anti's not quite at the strong phase of the game for Gwen. Once she has 2 items, she's a totally different champion than before. At first, she's kind of like a weird melee scrapper and skirmisher, and pretty soon she's going to be like the Kale style ranged auto attacker.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting to see once Anti finishes his second item. He's still got a little bit of gold he needs to work up in order to get there. But at the same time, I feel like CFG's already come online in a lot of their lanes, so they're able to just pressure RLS out of position and just take whatever objective they want across the map. War Leader's going to be looking for a steal here, if anything at all, but I have a feeling they're kind of going to have to let this Rift Herald go.
Yeah, so I think a quick thing is that it doesn't actually look like Anti is building those
coming out
items.
As we have Sejuani getting yanked away. Unfortunately, Shadow Bunny is going to be caught out there taking a lot of damage, but that shield is going to be doing so much, keeping them alive for a huge amount of time. Going to be Zia managing to pick up the kill onto Skarner as he brings the Judgment down on his head. Anti is going to get burned.
Anti
is going to
lives
manage to survive, though. We have the Caitlyn coming out, getting a shield. Yumi dropping out in order to keep him alive, so he doesn't actually take that jam. And very well done by Demon Girl. But that is Rift Herald over to the
Rift
side.
Herald. No, nobody got the Rift Herald. They stalled it for long enough that the Rift Herald
so the Baron came out. I was looking to see who had picked it up, but yeah.
So actually, a different build comes through for the Gwen from Anti. He builds Cosmic Drive, second item. He is putting more emphasis on kiting, which I don't think is a bad idea when there's this many melee champions. But I think he is going to be sorely lacking in damage for a good extra portion of the game because of it.
Potentially, it's all dependent on how quickly we can get this Ezreal online, because as we can see, he's finished the Divine Sunderer. He's working on that Manamune.
He ignites.
Some time to get it. Anti's going to come out. We have the Black Mist burn is going to do a lot of damage as he's staying just inside of it. So he is able to survive a lot of the quirky damage, and Anti's able to pick himself up with some revenge kill onto himself, getting himself some extra gold.
Yeah, that quirky damage kind of hurt me. Like, I took out of game damage. That was so much damage. I can't believe that Anti stood his ground and fought there. He really knew the limits of his champion.
The Black Mist is honestly a lot stronger if you're really able to avoid letting anyone inside of it, and it's so useful, but it's so tricky.
Yeah.
Hallowed Mist. The Hallowed Mist. Sorry, I was calling it Black Mist because that's right. She's not owned by Viego anymore.
Woo. But yeah, I think this Yumi needs to start hitching a ride on the like real carries this game. I know Ezreal's her bottom lane carry, but that's Yumi Ezreal isn't good because of Yumi and Ezreal together. It's good because you bypass Yumi's really bad early game by playing a champion who can sit back super far. So I think now you gotta hope that Demon Girl goes on Anti so that Anti can just schmoove in these team fights like he was on the Aurelia.
Put him on anti. You could potentially put him on the Skarner in order to help start the engages and then move to a carry.
Yeah, that's true.
But you're right. It's really kind of interesting just seeing the fact that RLS and CFG have both drafted Yumis without really picking a carry jungler. And so it's kind of hurt them a lot in the long run as these games have progressed. So we'll have to see exactly if RLS is able to end up using it here. They are down 4K gold still. Almost
keeping into red side. Shadow Bunny, you're up kind of far.
Shadow Bunny's up kind of far, but they got enough escapes they're able to get away.
Yeah. When does Drake spawn? We got another 40 seconds. There's a 5-man bottom from the red side right now from RLS. They're just going to try to clear out vision as best they can, try to dominate this river to avoid any possible chance of a quick CFG 4-stack soul at 24 minutes.
It did look like Corky had package, so you should have it.
Okay, he did just base to grab it.
Yeah, so he should have it once this next fight starts up, which is going to be really useful for him. Hopefully he's able to use it really, really well. We do have the Skarner ready to go for the side of RLS.
Why did RLS give up complete control of the river here?
I am not entirely sure. It feels like that they felt like bottom needed to be secured a little bit, or they could be looking for a flank engage. Not entirely sure how this is going to go for RLS.
Hey, we're in a good place. There's a Yuumi on a Gwen.
There is a Yuumi on a Gwen, so they're ready for this engage. The dragon has been started. The Hallowed Mist is out, so Anti's avoiding a lot of damage. Dives right in on that backline, trying to get some damage off when we say this fight. Just kick it off right there. Solar Flare is huge as it completely locks down Anti. He's not able to do anything in the backline. Escape is trying to get some damage off, but he's not quite able to find the targets. And in the meantime, Warleader just gets completely shredded by Coin Flip as they dive right in there. And then we have Sejuani trying to slow down the Yuumi, and the Ezreal does manage to do it. That is a huge fight for Coin Flip Gaming as that came up heads for them.
I really don't understand why we're diving with Gwen into 5. You have 2 really good engages in Lissandra and the Skarner ult, but Anti took matters into his own hands and felt it slip through his fingers, I think.
I feel like that was a miscommunication on the side of RLS where Anti's like, okay, we're going now, and everyone's like, wait, what? And they were just a little slow on the uptake, and unfortunately that meant that he got caught out, and there was a little bit of a split decision. That is huge because that is Soul and Baron over for Coin Flip Gaming. They could very well be taking this to a Game 5, and they are not ready to give up easy.
Yeah, CFG looked a lot better this game. Just playing to shut down the carry from Anti. They played a lot around top lane in this game. Which I think is good, especially in the Ezreal Yuumi. It's really hard to do anything on that side of the map. And they got 4 Drakes with his 4-0 and Dragons, so it's not like they were giving up pressure bottom either. I think this is a really clean game for CFG.
This has been a really clean game for CFG. They're doing a really good job of shutting down RLS, and it's just getting so rough for RLS right now. It's like, I want to try and find some good here, but I feel like they just kind of scuffed this game.
Yeah, I think this game was pretty all over the place from them. I don't think it was very focused.
They could just have some split decision making. It's not over yet. They are still in it. However, this is going to be a huge amount of objectives that are going to end up falling to Coin Flip Gaming if RLS is not able to block it. I mean, just look at the damage that Route is able to block right there with the Corki. They're able to avoid, just one Ezreal ult does not even match
no QSS.
Oh my goodness, Warleader's trying to take the Corki out of the way, but the Solar Flare is going to be able to get away. And then unfortunately, that means that the Hallowed Mist is going to allow Gwen to avoid a lot of damage jumping right onto Shadow Bunny. That is a huge amount of gold that's swinging in the direction of RLS, and that is 3 Baron buffs down. That is big for Restless Leg Syndrome right now.
Yeah, they spent they lost a turret for 3 Baron buffs and a decent bit of gold. They got a shutdown onto the Corki, and now they look like they're gonna snag this mid turret as well. Not a bad play for sure.
They should easily be able to snag this mid lane turret. They are starting to come online. They are scaling up. We see
they might be able to get another. Galen is solo holding.
They are solo holding, but Garen is there, so I don't feel like they want to engage on this bot lane yet.
Yeah, I think that they are going to step off of the gas pedal here, wait for another objective to spawn, take the 3 minutes they were gifted to farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gwen does get the Nashor's Tooth. she's super strong now. I think just one or two well-played fights coming through for RLS could even up this gold lead and maybe even steal that Elder Dragon and have a potential to win the Baron fight afterwards.
Nashor's Tooth and Stopwatch. So that Stopwatch is going to allow them some extra survivability in these team fights. We do have Caitlyn stepping up with this Baron buff, trying to siege this mid lane turret down, trying to get the inhibitor turret away so that they're able to try and start hitting this inhibitor. However, we've got Pangu jumping right in there. That's the engage you want. Huge amount of lockdown, but the Frozen Tomb is going to have to be used on themselves in order to survive. We've got the Sejuani ultimate as well, burning a lot as well. We have Ezreal in the back, poking out the rest of CFG. They are being taken out. However, that is going to be Anti jumping in on the back line. He's going to get shredded. Ezreal getting completely decimated by the ace in the hole. That is going to be almost half his health gone in a single ability. And that is going to kind of be an even trade fight overall. However, that is going to basically mean RLS shut down the huge push from CFG. So they are now out of the Baron power play, and they have stalled it long enough. They might still be able to pull a win out of this.
Yeah, quiet carry from Sadis here. Sadis Caitlyn is 7-0-2 this game, so maybe it's not even a quiet carry as much as it's a loud carry from an AD carry. ADC is kind of hard to look flashy on this season, so really good stuff to him this game.
He's been doing a great job hitting some backside targets. I do expect that we're going to be seeing someone try and get the shutdown gold. Anti is looking to pick it up. He does jump right onto Sadis. Sadis has no abilities that he's able to escape from. Unfortunately, he's just caught out a little bit too much. He does use the heal. The heal is burned. But look at this. So much being exhausted in order to take him out. And they finally get it 1,000 gold over to the Gwen is going to mean that they're just going to get that much closer to finishing their Zonias, which they desperately need to survive these fights. RLS is clearly not ready to succeed this game.
Yeah, they're really not trying to lose and have to play a game 5. They are playing very much aggressive this game. Anti just walking face first in the enemy jungle. Not afraid. What are you going to do without Caitlyn? You have no damages. He's very confident.
He is very, very confident. He's going to go down to this bot lane, finish off these minions right here. Once he does that, this tower should be there. They are aware that Sejuani has appeared in the bot lane, but they do take the turret instead. So very important to note, Elder Drake is going to be the next Drake up here in 30 seconds. This is going to be huge. If RLS managed to snag that, oh boy.
Yeah, it's going to look a lot. The game's going to change dramatically, right? They did just all base right before the Elder spawned, though. So we aren't going to get a proper contest. They're going to have to face check into some vision here.
They are choosing.
Yeah, you're dead.
They are kind of baiting it out. That's going to be, unfortunately, Pangu still getting taken down as the Lissandra is completely decimated. And we have shutdowns coming out. Shutdown on Ezreal as he gets killed.
Anti!
Museum is able to pick up the Warley, but look at the damage that Anti is putting out. It's absolutely disgusting, but Gwen is going to be gone, and that is going to be an ace going over Quarterfinals Gaming. They have completely decimated this line of RLS, and they are going to be shoving this wave in. If they're able to take the Nexus here, this is going to be game 5 going into this. I am so stoked for what's coming.
Yeah, I don't know. This could be the end, but I think it's probably more likely going to be a turret and then both of these Uber buffs.
It's going to be tight.
They're looking at him. They're looking at him.
They could do it. They've got the damage.
Look at this. No way Nuclear's going to spawn in time.
Nexus turret number 2, and that's going to be the Nexus taking the damage. We have Skarner coming out, and here's everybody coming up right now. It's going to keep on hitting it. That is going to be game. We are going to game 5, people, as Coinflip Game versus RLS is not over yet.
Ready the silver scrapes, boys. We're going to game 5. That was a much closer game than it looked like it was going to be for a while. Those fights ended up having a lot of HP bars very low. Anti did a lot of damage for sure, but you gotta point out that Escape did a lot himself. He was 4-2-6. It's a nice little 5.0 KDA coming through from the Ezreal. It's hard to be Ezreal in a game with 3 tanks. His damage can struggle to be meaningful in a game like this.
It really is, and remember to get your MVP votes here in just a second, because I know that for me, I'd probably want to put it onto that silent damage that was coming out of Caitlyn, but at the same time, just look at what Corki was able to do during all of those team fights. It was huge.
Yeah, it was looking pretty good with the double carry style comp. I hope they go with this again. I did not like the single carry for Peel from them. So I really hope that they play 2 high damage champions. I like seeing Rouse on the champion who's clearly much more comfortable on than Ari.
Yeah, I very much so. And so I think going into this game 5 is going to be really, really exciting. Don't forget, we're just, again, vote for that MVP. It's going to be kind of interesting to see what everyone decides on. We're going to be taking a quick break here, folks. Stick around. Things are just now like basically heating up. We are going to game number 5, and this is going to be the deciding factor for who moves on for the Helios quarterfinals.